So this is video gameplay of the game Tet’68. It's the end of the first turn, which is a special, essentially just an MVA turn. And the MVA have taken the city of Hugh and some assorted cities, 4 or 5, scattered throughout southern Vietnam. They have gained a total of 33 victory points, which is 1 victory point short of a tactical victory already, and that's on the first turn. That is essentially through victory points for the cities, and also because they had political units with a P in 2 of the cities, or 3 I think, they're able to roll on the political combat table, and with extremely lucky results they got 10 victory points for those rolls, and then they got another victory point for attacking an actual American rather than just sort of US allied unit. So I think that is about, if the MVA is set up properly, they will essentially get half the cities they aim to strike in the first turn. So I think that's a standard first turn go. So we move into the second turn. We'll start by rolling for weather. It's good. It's only on a 1 in 6 chance of it being bad. Then we go for reinforcements. Now the MVA always get 1 regular at a base, and I'm going to bring it on down in the south. Then the MVA go for their movement. So essentially at the beginning of the game they get a double turn because of their surprise attack. So essentially what we want is we want to keep units in the cities we have. We want to hold those. It's going to be difficult now because, especially along the seaboard here, because the 7th fleet can add its 6 points into combat. But essentially I'd really like to take cities more in the heartland here, but we don't have so many units set up for that. In fact, with that in mind, I'm actually going to bring that replacement on there. So and we also want to try and keep these political units alive because they allow that political attack to gain more points. But I don't want to leave divisions there because I want them elsewhere fighting. So I'm going to move off 1, 2, 3, 4 divisions, and one, two, three, move in some other units there. So the stacking limit is 4. Okay. Then we can go for some, either we can go for cities, I think, yes, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, so they're moving south, and I'm going to put those in guerrilla mode, which means they can only be hunted for by American intelligence units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to spend a Tran marker to move these ones a bit quicker so they can get into that city. Hang on. Yes. Okay, and I'll put 3 of them in guerrilla mode again, just 1 uncovered. No, actually, because they're probably going to be struck by the Americans, so I'll leave some uncovered to soak up. I want to put a political unit. Oops. Sorry about that. So it's a matter of juggling, so you sort of having units to be soaked up in attack, and then leaving another political unit. So even if those units get destroyed in regular combat, I've got an undercover unit there ready to pop up next turn, and otherwise the US will have to keep a unit hidden there. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so those are moving south, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and some more moving south down here. Okay, so we've got a combination of holding cities and moving south, and then there's, I'm just going to try and weaken the American forces there so they can't fight back so hard. And then what we have here is, I need to protect that logistics unit, and I want it down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it can stretch. If I'll put it in the mountains there, defended, so they'll be undercover. So essentially what that means is, and I'll put another one here, so the American doesn't know which one's the logistics unit because there's two dummies there. And okay, so I think I'll keep all of those there. In fact, I'll move that one in. So we got, they're all uncovered, but they're essentially defending that. Seeing as we've got that, we might as well try and keep hold of it. And then okay, these ones are going to go for the attack on here. So moving away from the American concentration there, but again leaving a unit threatening so that they can't just, you know, if they all move away, I'll say aha, then I'll move in undercover. That unit's a bit isolated up there. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll be moving him around there. They're going to be attacked there. And move these out of the Iron Triangle. We don't really stand a chance in Saigon, but they will have a go attacking Hamtan down there. And then here, I think I'm going to keep the pressure up. One, 2, 3. Okay, so we've got 9. We want 16, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Those are dummies, 13, 14, 15, 16 on there. And swing those over to the east. There, so now I could go for some intelligence attacks if I have, for example, this unit here. Okay, no, that's not useful at the moment. Okay, well, so we'll just again go for regular attacks, but now the US is going to be able to bring in all their support. So that's going to be tricky. So they've got 2 points defending there. And I'll take 2 air points off to help with that. So the Americans, no, actually the Americans are going to play on the mobile table. They don't think they're going to hold that, so they're on 4 points now. And no, I can only add support on the positional table. So I'm rolling on this column. Yeah, on a 4, 5 or 6 they get to retreat. No. On a 1 they could have done some damage. So they stay there. These are attacking on positional. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, so it's still here, that's a bit of a waste. 4, so one of those is destroyed. Going to make it the military intelligence unit. So the MVA get 1 point for attacking an American unit, not just a US allied unit. But they haven't taken that hex yet. Now Hugh, they're standing firm, they're there. Have we got any other attacks? So yes, we're trying to attack Bowlock here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's an attack there. There's going to be an attack there. So America's looking, thinking, oh, there's only going to be 3 major attacks, so we've got a lot of support. So what they can do is, none of them, unfortunately, the 7th fleet can go 2 hexes. It can only stay on all C hexes. It has a 2 hex range, so it can't support any of those defensively. But what I'm going to do, so we're going for this attack. The Americans are going to look for, if they've got 50 here, divided between 3, what's that? That's 15 each. And 1 point intrinsic, 16. But if I need a whole, I could double one of them up and get on the heftier column. So what I'm going to do is just spend 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this one. So we're on the 16 column, positional, and I inflict 2-step losses on the MVA, so they lose 2 of those units. That means they're now attacking with just 1, which is fairly pitiful, but on a 1 they can get it, and they roll a 6, so that's nothing for them. Okay, so similarly we have a similar situation here. I think what this means is I'm going to have the MVA going to have to attack at least 4 points a turn to have any benefit. And the other thing is, if I don't attack, say okay, they're probably going to get decimated in support, then the American will have those air points for use in attacks in their half of this turn, this game turn. So I think I'll keep the pressure up. So again, 15.1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the American now has 22 air points left, plus their strategic air command of 6 points. Anyway, they're rolling on 16. They get a 3, so 2. Okay, I'll lose those 2. And they get the MVA roll a 1, so they actually do manage to get that. That's very fortunate for them. And then the last one here, another 15. So the US has 7 air points left, and they roll a 5, which is only a 1. So MVA just lose a little bit there, and they roll, so they were on 16, they roll a 4, which is a 1-step loss, so they've taken that too. And I'll move, unfortunately they don't have a card reader with a political combat there, so that's not going to gain them a great bonus. Okay, oh, and then they could attack from there. No, they want to hold. Control. Hadn't thought of that attack. Let's just go for it. They might take it, it might force the Americans to. So they declare that they're attacking with those 3 units, and the US then decides, am I going to spend air points? And they want to inflict losses, so yes they are. They've got 7 left, so that brings them to the 8 column. And they roll a 4, which is a 1, so they inflict a loss of 1, and the MVA do not succeed in their attack. Okay, so no any intelligence attack. So units with an eye on them could perform an intelligence attack on, like this one, on hidden units. The US can hide some of their units, but that's not the case now. So then we go to the political combat, and the political combat works quite simply as, like, if you're in a city or a popular area, that's these triangles, you can perform political combat, and it's quite dicey. It could go either way, but with a P unit you have a -1 in your benefit. So I rolled a 3 there, which is no VPs. Here I rolled a 3, goes down to a 2, and that's 1 VP for the NVA. Again in that city there, 3 goes down to a 2, so that's 1 VP. They could get 5. If they roll a 1 or 2, they will get 5 points. He rolled a 3, so that's another 1. And that's it. Okay, so that is the end of the NVA turn. So now we go to the American turn. So we get reinforcements, and they get one of these back on a base. So I'm going to send that one back up there just for speed, and then we roll for 1 or 2 of the ARVNs. They just get 1, and I'm going to bring on the Marine division, and that will come on a base. I'm going to bring it on. Now I will bring it on up here too, so bring both those up there. Oh no, sorry, yes, that is a base. Okay, because we have camps, bases, popular areas and cities, and they're all some slightly different effects. Okay, so now we go to the US movement. What we want to do, we definitely need to take Hugh back if possible. Really, I should have saved US air points for a massive attack on that, but as it is, I can use Strategic Air Command and the 6th Fleet. That will give us 16. If we can get another 16 in there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yes, I think we can do it. So moving around through our friendly areas. 1, 2. Bring them onto there. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. In previous turns I hadn't got this as a solid block, and the NVA was able to get through, which would hindered support 16, I believe that is. And it's a bit unfortunate because I would like to have used that political American P political unit to go for a political action there, but as it is, this ARVN one can do that. Or we've got the logistics unit. I better protect that logistics unit there. Okay, and I'll bring the intelligence unit in there too, so it's protected. And what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I'm sending a helicopter unit all the way over from here to add some defence into the city there. Okay, political activity going on there. I'm going to try and take back the city here. Okay, it's really helpful to have these helicopter units. Can move very far. Okay, going to leave some units behind. Now, the road net really helps the American because it effectively adds 6 movement points if they move along the road. Okay, that one's going to go there. I want to get some defence in there, but maybe I should have moved that helicopter unit there. See, the American's kind of pulling his hair out a bit. 5, yes, okay, so you can move along the road there and then move in like that. Then I'm moving in some political, and likewise that one there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So I'm trying to defend the cities and start performing some political actions, some political attacks, and hopefully draw out VA units that are in cover. So I've still got Saigon quite nicely protected. I think that's the best I can do for the American movement. Oh, I didn't perform those. Okay, so that's 2 political units, same hit, so that's going to give me -2 to the roll. Oh, and these helicopter units too. So I can fly those over to there. And these Laotian units, Laotian unit, US Allied. Oh, he can't move out of Laos, I forgot. I think they're going to attack that base camp there. So now we go to the American combat. So we start with this. So we have 3, they'll be doing positional, and the defence has to be, if it's intrinsic defence, it has to be positional. It obviously can't retreat, so no effect on either side. Okay, so this was the major attack, wasn't it? So I'm expending the 6th Fleet and the Strategic Air Command. 12. How did I think I had 16 with that? And I had 16 there. Okay, so I just got wrong with that. I think it should be 32. I got a 1, and either way it's the same result. But first the defenders get, are they going to go for, they're actually going to go for mobile. So there's they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 5 strength. So if they go on the mobile table, they have a 50% chance of being able to retreat, or they might inflict some damage. And I actually rolled a 4 for them, which does mean they retreat. So they have to retreat at least 1 hex, maybe up to their full movement as you like. They can go underground too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Underground means they could just move straight through. So what that means is we got the victory points for Hugh. We're not going to hang around and get destroyed, because I want them to be able to go for example here, other cities. Then they need to do a bit of a dance like that, or else they can rack. If they're lucky, they would stay. They would stay in there. They might get another 10 victory points, but they're going to be losing units quite fast like that. So so what that means is the US automatically succeed in their attack, but they might think, oh well, I wasted that support, but that support can be used for an interdiction attack on the same hex. So if any units stayed there underground, they would still have had an attack against them. Okay, so that was taken. Where else are we fighting? Not there. So here. We're not ready to fight yet because that's going to be disadvantageous. So I think that's all. The US is still building up their forces, so that's all the regular attacks they're going to do. But now we get a political attack here and here, because these are NVA popular areas. So the first one's on a -1 and the second one's on a -2. So the first one was 6 and a -1 is 5. So I get my victory points reduced by 1. So I haven't actually counted, so that's -1. That's a negative effect. The next one is 2, so that's positive +1. So the net effect of the political actions that turn is 0 for the US. And actually I should have moved some out from here and here. Yeah, okay. I just left them idle, which is pointless, so I'll roll twice here with -1 each, and I roll 4 on each one. That's -1. And sometimes it can be not just -1, but no more political actions this turn because such, complaint. Each week, each turn is a week long, so it's there's able to get a lot of reaction to events and stopping other events happening in the rationale to what's going on in those political actions and maybe stopping of them. So then that's the end of the turn for the American side, and now we go to the NVA victory point tally phase, and I also tally up the American victory points. I could have been doing it as we went along. So let's do the Americans first. So they get 2 points. So they get 2 points for each of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they get 12 points -2. So they have a net 10 victory points at the end of the first turn and the second turn. And the NVA are going to get a lot more. They're going to get 2 for that. 2 for that. I should have done an attack there, but I didn't have the strength for it. It's difficult as the US. Do you use your support for defense or for the counter-attack in your turn? I've been tending to use it on defense. I'm thinking now it's going to be better used on counter-attack because the NVA might not even succeed in their attack, so then you could use it elsewhere. Anyway, where were we? So that was 2 there. At least we got Hugh back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for bonus because having the political there. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So the NVA get another 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which brings them up to 53. So they're only like 15 points short, 16 points short of a strategic victory. And you can see how it works. So they might gain their strategic victory, and the US could gain their strategic victory later, because what you'll tend to find happening, I think, depending on your play, is that the NVA will mass quite a lot of victory points, but their numbers will be being whittled down. That replacement pile can stack up and they don't come back that quick. You only get 1 or 2 a turn. so their forces are being whittled down, and each time that happens, the US victory point is going up, and it might reach the point where the NVA can't gain any more victory points, and they'll just be running away and trying to hide from the US, and that's when the US intelligence units will come in handy, because then you pounce on a hidden stack and roll on this table, and either the intelligence unit itself is ambushed, or the defender is ambushed. On massive repression, it's not so great for the US, because that's a bit, they take out the NVA hidden units, the guerrillas, but there's a 5 victory points for the NVA. And if the NVA already have their strategic victory, which is 67 or higher, you might say, well, it doesn't matter, we can cause a lot more. But if any side reaches 100, that's a total victory, and the game immediately stops. So you get a bit of a cushion there in hunting down and causing outcry and victory points for the other side, but only so far. So I haven't actually got to that point, because I think it's quite difficult. You have to play both sides quite differently, and the US is sort of more reacting to the NVA, but they've got a lot more mobile capability. So I sort of really been concentrating on how to work with the NVA against an opponent. I think it could be a very interesting tense game between that, with the US trying to catch up, sort of grab a victory after the NVA have got their victory, whichever level it is, tactical or strategic. And I think strategic is going to be pretty common, especially this quickly. And so you know, the NVA are going to pounce, and then they're going to be trying to slink away, and the USA are trying to catch up and destroy them after the fact. So that's it for Tet’68. I hope that's giving you an idea of how it plays out.